Hello and welcome to the 32nd video in this series making simple Flappy Robin for Android using Cocos2dx. So in this video then, first of all the glaring error, which has been sitting in the code for a while, is inside the code here for the JNI helper.cpp, the set effects volume JNI, I still had the actual name of the function here as set music volume JNI. Now in the release version in the Play Store this isn't the case because I've got a sort of a mirror of this project which is already done and it saves the settings correctly, but I did this video earlier as a preparation and found that the volumes didn't set correctly because this code here was incorrect. So there you go, the dangers of copying and pasting rear their ugly heads once more. So anyway, this video then, let's get on with actually writing the music and effects volume sort of connections now between the C++ and the JNI layer. You'll remember that we set up the saving of our keys into our preferences. Well, now let's go into the game manager, and down the bottom of the game manager you'll find that you'll remember that we load our settings at this value of 5 and we don't save any settings at all. We'll go to the top of the file now and make sure you include the JNI helper.h because we're going to call the functions inside there now to do this stuff properly. So the first thing we need to do then is inside the save settings to disk then we'll call set music volume JNI, and then we want obviously to set that with the music volume that the game manager has, and then we also want to set the effects volume JNI as well, and I've just realized I haven't called the one above the JNI, so we've got the effects volume, this needs to be JNI obviously. Okay, so that then we'll call the Java layer functions to set these into the preferences. We'll write those in a minute, and here last but not least we simply need to write get effects volume JNI obviously, and here we want the get music volume, and these are functions like I said that we've already written inside the JNI helper here and just corrected with the pasting error that I had. And now what will be happening when we load the settings, we'll call the Java layer and get these integers from the settings. So let's go into the Java layer then and let's start writing those functions. We're going to start below the set key if not exists. I'll just scroll that down a bit to make things a little bit easier to read, and the first thing we want is a public static void with an int, and we have a nice declaration already provided here. And now what we'll do is the first one we'll call then, we'll say set effects vol JNI, so I'll just go here and we want set effects vol JNI, that's the one, and we want a volume here and a volume here. And now to set then what we are actually doing, first of all we want to set our key if not exists, and here we want obviously the key effects volume and effects volume default, so we can make absolutely sure the key's in there. Now I'm not sure, to be honest, whether or not I need to keep doing this all the time or whether it actually sets the key if you try to access a key that doesn't exist, but I prefer to be absolutely sure because I'm always scared of funny crashes. So now we've done that, we need to get our shared preferences editor and do an edit, which we've probably already got some code that does that, and indeed we've got that here. So I'm just going to do something which causes errors, the copy and the paste. And now I want the key name, and the key is the effects volume obviously, and we want to say, hang on a minute, I want the editor, but I don't want to ask if it contains because it already does contain. So what we want to do is delete this code here. Okay, that's better. So we've got our editor now from the shared preferences, and inside the key effects vol name then I'm going to store our volume and commit that, and that's all we need to do. So the same then for the music, except we change the name and the key, so it's music volume JNI, and I'll just put that in here. And now we want the key music volume, and we want the music volume default, and then we want to store the key music volume like so. And now a little bit shorter is just writing our code to actually get. So what we do here is we want public static int this time, and it's going to be get music volume JNI, and I'll save this. We don't take an integer obviously as an argument, and I'll say returning like so. Right, so to get something actually out, it's actually very easy. All we have to do is say an int volume equals, and why has it done that in italics? Oh, I don't know. Right, so int volume and then equals, and I want to say prefs.getInt, and now we take our key, which is our music volume key, and the default value is the default music volume, and then all we need to do is then return this volume. So it's actually very simple when it comes to accessing the information. All I'm going to do here is this and this. The spelling's been terrible in this function. So it's just actually for the getter then, those 3 lines in here. The one more thing I will do though is I'm going to say again, if the key doesn't exist, and let's just set the default value inside there, and I'm pretty sure this does already, but I can't remember, and for safety let's just add that in because it does no harm anyway. And then we copy and paste that and just change it for get effects volume, and then we want the effects volume key like so, and then we want the effects volume default here. So that's actually all there is to it. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to quickly hit build. Everything seems to have built without error. So now I'll fade the video, export the package, and then we can have a look at the application on screen. So just starting the application, into settings, and you can see everything's at a 5. If I just go now to an 8, and let's make this a 1 and back, I'll fade the video and exit, come back into the application, and let's see what the settings are. Oops, hit the robin. Let's wait for him to die. And now hit settings. And now you can see that we've got the 8 and the 1, so it's remembered our settings. Okay then, so that's it then for this video. The next video we've got sort of one more thing to do before we start going into the complexities of how you actually put the app on the Play Store and the game services and all that. And that is, we'd like to deal with the saving the game time and also saving the high score, which we'll look at in the next video. So thanks very much for watching, and comments, questions, criticisms welcome as always on YouTube.